Welcome to this week's episode of the Dope Creator Podcast. I'm your host, Diamond, and here we get real with your favorite creators and CEOs. We have conversations that will challenge you, motivate you, educate you, and ultimately remind you of how dope you are. And today I have like the best guest ever. Okay. Like we literally just met and like she's my homegirl now. So Lisaura, baby girl, how are you?
I am so excited to continue talking the things we talk behind the scenes.
No, for real.
I think this is my first podcast in English.
What?
Swear to God. Yes, this is it.
I'm so honored.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry I can't switch to Spanish, but oh my gosh.
I am the one who's adopted me now to this market.
Yes, so, I have adopted you. Welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. Really.
Well, tell us a little bit about you.
What do you want to talk? From what point we start?
Okay, girl. So let's start off with about little Lisaura, right? What were her dreams? Like, what did she want to be when she grew up? Did she always see herself as a creative? Like, what did she want to do?
When you were asking the question, just pop up in my head a moment. I used to live in a yellow house. We call it the yellow house because in my country, when you tell someone a direction, they were like, oh, there in the yellow house. So in the top of the mind of everybody, we were, like the yellow house. And we live in the second floor. And I've always like walk and dance and be on the balcony. And, there were big trees. And I was doing like a show for probably the plants and the trees and the neighbors. I was always into singing, dancing, creating things like art itself. And I believe I'm really creative into the art, most of it. Like I use the art to express myself. If I write, if I create content on social media, if I create a product, like creating something that is meaningful in my heart, it was always very important for me and still is. So I think that little girl right now is excited because she has a lot of energy and I'm using that energy to create.
Yes.
And expand myself into this word of leaving that energy to people, my energy to people, that they can feel it and they can embrace that part, that light inside of themselves while I'm navigating through my life. So I think that could be something that I'm still attached to.
Which makes total sense because like, yes, through your content, like you are insanely energetic, super creative. Like you always have a great spirit and you're such a great person to be around. And honestly, like I'll never forget. So the one thing I'll never forget is when we had our first conversation. And this conversation was literally only supposed to be 30 minutes, but it ended up being an hour. Like we could literally talk forever. And so during this conversation too, you mentioned that you could read auras, right? And you could read mine. And it was like, what? And so, and the reason I'm saying this because one, it makes so much sense why we connected instantly because I'm attracted to like great energy and so are you. And two, like why your brand, which we'll get into, but your brand Aura is called Aura because it literally enhances your energy, right? It makes you feel more confident. And I can't even express how important that is and how every woman needs that, especially as a woman of color, right? And so little Lisaura, like dancing around, being creative and doing all these amazing things. It just is, it's cool to see how just seeing this little snippet of you, how you were younger and how you are now on your socials. Cause I binge watch like your videos, whether you believe it or not. I may not understand what's happening, but like I can read the energy and I'm like, this girl is just like so energetic, so full of life. And we need that. And you're bringing that into your brand. Like, I love that. And so with that though, you also recently moved from the Dominican Republic to Chicago. So like, how was that process for you? And what was that moment that you said, like, I want to be this content creator, this lovely, lively, energetic creator?
So, and it's so crazy, and I think we talk about this.
Mhm.
When I was a little girl, for some weird reason, I cannot explain to people, I've always knew that I wanna leave out of Dominican Republic,
Mhm.
representing, like, be a Dominican out of the country, and everywhere I go, like, "That's the Dominican who made the change in
Mhm.
this, that's the Dominican," like, I knew that because when I was a little girl, we didn't have all these amazing opportunities that we do have right now in the country of, art and industry of marketing and new owners and entrepreneur. We are in that it's really fast scale in my
Mhm.
country. So when I was a little girl, I knew that eventually whatever that I pursue in life, it will take me to get out of my country to represent my country.
Mhm.
So I cannot explain the exact moment. Probably in my conscious mind, I was like 8 years old
Mhm.
because I my dad used to have like a library and he sold books and he sold, paper and pen and pencils and everything you need to go to
Mhm.
school. So since I was a little girl, I saw my dad having like three jobs and having this business in that specific time where not everybody can have a
Mhm.
business. Um, and it was a little business, but that really inspired me to follow my own path,
Mhm.
whatever that is. So I started exploring that when I was, getting bigger, getting not, like 20s. I was doing music, and then the music, it was something that changed for me when I just introduced myself to marketing because I study advertising.
Mhm.
So creating and advertising was something that I really love. So when I got into that point of I've always want to live in the United States, but I didn't know where.
Mhm.
So I came here October 22, because my sister moves to Illinois,
Mhm.
not Chicago,
Mhm.
Illinois. And then I visit Chicago. And it was a sense of, wow, this place has something that I cannot explain energetically.
Mhm.
Just I'm like, I see myself here.
Mhm.
But that was a wishful thinking.
Mhm.
It was just I can't see myself there. I was exploring where I want to lead because I was creating my brand. I wasn't launching the product yet. I was in the middle of, all the hour thing. And I want to come
Mhm.
here, be in the market, just go outside and just learn how the culture works in order for me to expand my business in the United
Mhm.
States in the areas that I want to expand. And it was January. I have a therapist that it was really bad. You know, when you go to a therapist and it was really bad, you didn't connect
Yeah.
and you felt bad, it didn't work for me,
Mhm.
but it gave me a lesson.
Mhm.
It took me. I was so mad at that girl, but it was that she was showing me that I had to get out of my wishful thinking.
Mhm.
When do you want to move? Because I knew if I'm going to pursue that, I need a long way to do my visa to apply because I was applying for a special visa and I wanted like it was a lot of things. So I knew when I would say yes, I'm choosing Chicago, and I truly took a list of pros and cons in every state.
Mhm.
LA, Florida, Chicago. I'm like, who knows? I was figuring out that.
Mhm.
And from that point, I saw that Chicago has all the pros
Mhm.
of all. My sister is here, our family.
Mhm.
I have friends in here. I've already, come here and explored certain things, and I liked it. I felt the energy for me, the home energy. Like this is your place. It's something that you cannot explain, but you belong to that
Mhm.
place. Even so, if it's for a specific time, it doesn't matter. You belong to that
Mhm.
place. So it was that time, January 23, where I was like, Chicago it is. Let's go with the lawyers. So what would need to do in order for me to leave in the United
Mhm.
States? And it took me an entire year to pursue that,
Mhm.
to have like like a properly legally status in the United States. And that point, everything I started as a content creator in 2013,
Mhm.
but I was picking all the content because I created an agency. So I just put myself as a content creator in the second page. And I was like, let's just go back to first page. And then I just intentionally put myself in that. And it actually opened up new doors for me here. And I'm still navigating through that. But
Mm.
long story short, which I told you the long story, not the short, but um, I've just, I tell people just go with your intuition
Mm.
and go with your gut feeling.
Mhm.
Never wrong.
Mhm.
You don't know how you're gonna do it because I didn't know, and I'm still don't know a lot of things, but I'm going with my intuition. Like, okay, this is. Do I feel good in this state?
Mhm.
No. Why? Like, just try to navigate through the spiritual journey. That's what it's taking me to walk.
Mhm.
If I always in my head, I wouldn't even move a
Oh,
finger.
girl. Yeah.
I just always in my head. No,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. And then now I'm like, what tells? Close your eyes and just figure out what do you want.
Mhm.
And if you don't know in the moment, just pause. You don't have to know now.
Mhm.
So that's just been my entire life. It's just my gut feelings since I was a little girl, new. And I traveled the first time to United States when I was 16.
Mm.
So I don't know how I knew that because I've never been in the United
Right.
States. But it's just giving me a purpose.
Mhm.
That's what I think. A vision and a purpose. Is it easy?
No.
Still not. But I'm navigating through that uncomfortable path.
Mhm.
And I'm always asking for guidance to just what's the right thing to do now,
Mhm.
my place,
Mhm.
in order for me to just feel comfortable in the uncomfortable. That's what I call
Right,
it.
exactly. And we're not gonna get
Yeah.
anywhere if we're comfortable all the time. Like we have to take those risky. Woo, I'm talking to myself. Like I have to. We have to take those risks, right? We have to. You're laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like we have to take those risks. We have to take that leap, and we have to
I
follow
know.
our gut. Like when your gut says something and is off, believe it. Explore that. Like what is off about the situation? This whatever, right? But when your gut says, "Hey, you need to take this leap. You need to do this thing. Like you need to follow that." And y'all, I can't even stress how much I'm talking to myself right now because my gut is telling me like you need to leap. You need to do something. You have told me, girl, you need to just do it. Like it will, everything will align the way that it needs to. And I think that's something that
Yeah.
we have to really internalize and really believe like what's for you is for you and it will never miss you. And you knew that when you came to Chicago and visited the US, you were like, I have this feeling this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't know where yet, but I know it's somewhere, right? And then you came to Chicago and you're like, ooh, wait, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm going to fight to make sure that I'm there. Like when you want to do something and you know you want to do it and you have this feeling that this is what I want to do, what are you going to do about it? What action steps are you going to take to get there, right? You can dream all day, every day, but if those dreams aren't followed by actions, it's nothing, right? And then you're going to get to the end of your life and you're like, dang, I wish I would have did this and that. I wish I would have chased after this dream and tried and see if like, it actually, if it fell through, if it was successful, right? If you fail, that's totally fine. At least you tried. You won't get to the end of your life and be like, dang, I wish I would have tried. And that's something
You
though.
have regrets. I rather live through failure
Mhm.
than regret.
Exactly.
But because failure is a teacher,
Mhm.
teaches you how to live life.
Mhm.
So if you embrace that, that's your master, your higher self telling you you need to move to the other side.
Mhm.
It's not feeling that you're losing. You feel like you're learning
Mhm.
through certain things to not repeat the same pattern.
Mhm.
So I rather live by failure than regrets.
Mhm.
I don't know how to mean I I don't know how it feels to feel regret
Mhm.
because it gives me the opportunity on this life to do certain things and not I'm not even close to what I want to be because we
Mhm.
always want more. But if I go back to the Lisaura of 1 year, she's so freaking happy
Mhm.
because she achieved this now.
Mhm.
So it just give me confidence of, do you remember what you did?
Mhm.
Do you remember what you did
Yeah.
and what you're still doing?
Yeah.
Just be so with you. Just slow down. Just slow down. Just don't be so hard.
Yeah.
So that's always my conversation. Like I go back and see what I've done for myself
Mhm.
and for other people, and I'm like, just be nice.
Mhm.
You're doing amazing. Little steps, it doesn't matter. The process is the journey is the process that is giving you what you need in life.
Mhm.
Because when you achieve the goal, you're gonna move to the other. So you're always gonna feel unsatisfied about life itself if you don't enjoy what you're doing. And don't get me wrong, there's days that I'm like, I'm not enjoying this, but it's giving me the path to the vision. And it's just learning that it's not gonna be rainbows and beautiful things all the time. But to see the rainbow, you had to go through very dark, uncomfortable moments.
Right.
And then you see the rainbow, and then there's another dark wait, paddle here. And then, like that just gives you the balance, the mental balance that we all need.
Mm. Yeah.
Not be so hard to ourselves.
Yeah. And one thing I know how to do is be hard on myself. That's one thing that I know
We
how
all
to do.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, yes, I may be in my head. Yes, I may be fearful, but like, I'd rather be scared and do it than be scared and stuck. And one thing I
Yeah.
admire about you, like, this is be like a whole episode of me talking about how much I admire you because, like, I really do. But, but one thing I admire about you is like, you're literally your ancestors' wildest dreams. Like you fought so hard to immigrate to the US, like, the whole process I think is actually ridiculous, the process of like immigrating to the US. But you fought through that, right? You finally got here, you finally got that green light and you went, right? And you're here living your dreams or doing the things that you want to do to get to like your full dreams, right? To get where you want to be. And you're inspiring your family and friends back home, right? They're like, oh my gosh, look at her. She finally did it. Maybe I can do it too, right? And to yeah, you're inspiring them to fight for what they want. Like you're literally a living testimony of what's possible and how you
Yeah.
became that living testimony, right? Of course, all these trials and tribulations and being a content creator, but you've also created this beautiful brand called Aura. I don't know if I'm not saying it correctly. I'm sorry, but Aura, right? Aura by
Yeah, no,
Lisaura.
that's today.
Okay. But yes, you created this beautiful, beautiful brand, Aura by Lisaura, right? And so you told me the beautiful story behind it and how you've added a touch of home, which is the Dominican Republic. So can you tell the girlies like the story behind the brand, how it was born?
It was born. I need appreciation moment for my inner child
Mm,
because listen, you always want to be like your mom.
mm,
We as a kid, I just want to be exactly like my mom, my mom's hair, my mom's color of skin, like everything. And when I was a little girl, I had two sisters, but I was the one with the darker colors of skin.
mm,
And my mom, she was white.
mm.
She looks like Japanese. And I'm like, so am I? So what's going on? Because I got the curly hair and my natural hair, it was this color.
Mhm,
And I had the darker skin. And I remember telling to my mom, little girl, like, I don't like the color of my skin. I want to be like
mm,
you. And she was always encouraging me to, you look amazing. Look at the color of your skin. Look at your hair. Look at like, and I didn't like anything about me because I want to be like my mom.
mm,
And then when I was growing up, I started like seeing myself in the mirror and say, ooh, people go to take sun in order to take the color of my skin. What are you talking about?
Look, okay.
Like, come from all over the world to Dominican Republic and they put themselves in the sun in order to take this natural color.
Mhm,
Like I didn't understand that in the moment, but then when I started accepting the color of my skin and accepting who I was, I start using oils on my skin to boost, the juicy, looking juicy like this all
mhm,
the time. And that became part of I remember my friends in high school that was like she's always with baby oil in her legs and her body, like I always put that on my skin and it just makes me feel like sexy, like empowerment. I don't know what it is or what it was in that time. And then that gave me a sense of creating something that really made people feel that way.
mhm.
but there were things that I want to create that were specifically for my condition. So I have a really sensitive skin. So I got like really red spots and really dry skin if I use, something that is not working for sensitive skin. So I create this body oil for sensitive skin that want to help, like kind of be natural, organic, vegan, paraben free, that smells delicious, that really smells like you feel like you're in Punta Cana or in a beach in Dominican Republic, that has like coconut, that mango, that guava berry, that sense of island kind of smell, that add a little bit of shimmer, that gives you that glow, that extra bite, that is really dry. It's a dry oil, which means that the formulation is created to your skin to absorb it fast, so you don't feel sticky. Because I don't like to feel sticky at all. If I feel sticky, I feel like I don't like it. The sense, the stimulation, I just don't. I can't. So from that day, I didn't know that I want to create that product first. I was navigating through other products that are important for me too. But then I got the opportunity to create this one, but I didn't know the name. I spent like almost 2 years creating this formulation.
Mm.
And it was a process because I had to try it out. I had to do focus group to figure out, do you have rashes when you add on your skin?
Mm.
Certain samplings that give me rashes. So I was trying to navigate to the perfect that is for my type of skin and boost the color of my skin. It's not cosmetic, it is natural. So it won't like give it to your clothes. It wouldn't, how do you say this? Oh my God, how do you say manchar in English?
Yeah, basically, like, it wouldn't bleed
Like,
onto your clothes. Yeah.
yes, thank you
Yeah.
very much, because it's not makeup.
Mhm.
So I'm just boosting people authentic, like feeling like authentic self
Mhm.
with their skin, the color of the skin, helping people to take care of their body skin, like hydration and stuff. We take care of this, but sometimes we forget about this other part
Mhm.
of our body, our hands, our feet, like all the areas that are really dry. And I want to, the main thing about this is to boost their self-love,
Mm.
their confidence, to be good on your own skin. Because the day that I start accepting me
Mm.
as Dominican, as Latina, as the color of my skin and everything, I start seeing like a glimpse and light of, this is who I am. This is myself. So what I do with this, my mindset, spiritual connection, is gonna boost my aura. So when I remember I was looking for answers for the name in the middle of all things, and I had a deadline for the name, and I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, I have a deadline. I don't know yet. What's the name of the brand? And I remember I was looking to preaching this Pastor Stephen Furtick. I remember he was talking about. I remember that because he had like a red hoodie that has the universe on
Mhm.
here, and and it was red and has the universe. And I was like, he was saying, your power is in your name. And I'm like, Lisaura, which I'm okay. And then he never stopped repeating that all over, all over, all over. And I was asking God, can you give me something here? And I remember I wrote my name because he was saying the power is in your name. I'm like, okay, my name. And I was like, Lisaura. And then some moments come in my head. My dad is a really, really funny guy. And he said one time, he always said, so I always ask where my name come from because it's just not a regular name. Not Maria, it's not Jennifer, it's like what's Lisaura. How do you come from this? How do you come with that name? And he said, so your mom wants to call you, I wanted to call you Lisa, and your mom wants to call you Ura. And I'm like, Dad, that's not true. So I separate Lisa, Ura. And then I was looking at that. And then for some reason, my mind took the A and put it next to the U, and it say Aura. I'm like, what? That's my, that was it. So I took Aura, and it was So the product has glitter, golden glitter, and the gold aura is the higher, powerful aura. Even Jesus Christ had that. You see the pictures of Jesus, and they always put like gold aura around him, and it's just the highest one. And from that point, that created the color red. It was something that I wanted to do. And also, the pastor has a red t-shirt. I'm like, listen, whatever it is, I got it. So I created in that time that, and it just changed my life, just completely, because that's something that I know I am in the early stages of product and the brand and everything. I'm in the awareness first year. So I'm pivoting to the second year, which is when you start like expanding yourself in all the areas. Even though it's really hard, I can tell you that at some point, I don't know the time, this is going to impact millions of people. And I don't know, I mean, I don't, it, again, intuition, gut feeling. It's more about the impact of the brand, no Lisaura. And it's not about me. It's about what that brand can do to your confidence, to your self-love journey. And I'm telling you this because when you're living in a grief moment, you don't want to take care of yourself. You don't want to put makeup, you don't want to put creams, you don't want to take care of yourself. You just abandon yourself. So when you start putting body creams, oils, perfume, makeup, hair, you start feeling differently than if you didn't. Something changed inside of you, and you think that it's shadow, but it's not. It's from the inside. So that's the point, to boost auras, to people start thinking and feeling differently about themselves, the way they were created. That it's not navigating your thoughts, but more in the spiritual sense.
That is so powerful. I'm speechless. Oh my
I'm a
goodness.
channel. I believe I'm a channel. I'm a channel. Sometimes I think I say things. I'm like, dude, you're using me right now.
Not dude. No, for sure. For
I
sure.
call God, and in such a different way that people
Mhm.
like. I feel near to Him, like He's next to me. I don't feel detached. I feel like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I talk to Him like a friend, but I know His power. It's more than human, so I cannot put Him in a box. So I try to talk to Him like I'm talking to myself because we're connected spiritually. But yeah, that bigger source is my support, my biggest support system.
Yes.
I don't have to say about that.
Yes. But that's so beautiful. Like, there's the way that you came up with the name of this brand. Like, the power was in your name. That's absolutely insane. Like, I can't wrap my mind around it. And I know as I listen back on this, I'm gonna be like, whoa, it's gonna blow my mind again because it's just a fact, like, yes, like be your own light, right? And there's so much like self-love and self-care in it. And you have like your brand is your baby, right? It means so much to you. And the way that it means to you, you want it to mean to other people. And you said
Yeah.
something early on where you said that you hated the color of your skin. And it took you some time to actually really fall in love with yourself and the way that you looked. And once you fell in love with yourself, things started happening. It made so much sense. And you made a comment and you were like, yeah, it made sense. Like, oh, other people are paying to look the way that I look. So what and that made me think of like when I was younger, like I would get made fun of being, darker, like not being light skinned, and then my features, like having big lips, having big nose, like a full face. And it's like, but the girlies today, are paying thousands of dollars to have the features that I naturally have. Right. Exactly. So it's like that in itself should really like push me to like really love who I am. And like you said, the moment you loved yourself, things started happening. It took me until college to really stop hating the way that I looked, to stop hating my skin, to be like, whoa, wait. we got something going on here. Like, we actually kind of pop it, you know? And then it took me to like moving to Germany for 2 years. So I followed my gut moving to Germany for 2 years. And I had people in my ear telling me, like, no, you shouldn't do this. It's a horrible idea. Like, you're going to die, all these crazy things. And so I went anyway, had this amazing experience. It took me being on the beach in Portugal to be like, you know what? I'm the shit. Like, I am that girl. Like, I am on the beach drinking the best mimosa ever. Like, or pina colada. It was a pina colada. And I'm like, I am the shit. I am that girl. And it is time for me to chase my dreams and like really be in that, you know? And y'all, I love it here. Like, when you fully love yourself and love who you are and like the confidence is there, you're able to take on the world in a different way, like whether it's starting a brand or building your career or doing whatever you're doing, being a content creator. Like, people are going to read that and you're going to build an audience through that. And for you, you've built an audience through that, right? Falling in love with yourself, creating this brand that's like a part of your name. It's literally your name. And I saw that and I was like, that's interesting. Okay. Like, it's very intriguing. And so really hearing this story is just, it's super cool. And I want to buy like all the bottles. But
Please do.
no, I'm definitely gonna be a customer, girl. Like, I'm a customer. I'm gonna support you. You need me, like, I got you, and we will make sure all the
Oh
really
no,
stuff.
I know.
Yes, I love that. Ah, that is so so rich. And so, like you said, though, everyone has an aura, and
Yeah.
so with that, how do you make sure that you reconnect with yours, especially during those stressful and hard times, especially during those times where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just want to be in a corner and be by myself. This is hard. This is dumb, you know? So how do you reconnect with
Yeah.
that, especially like being a content creator and a business owner? Because that is not easy at all.
I just feel like it took me years
Mm,
to develop a routine that actually it's helpful for me because I didn't have that. I was the kind of girl who 2019 I was a workaholic.
mm,
I worked 13, 14 hours. I didn't care about the time. It was professional speaking, it was one of the best years in my life.
mm,
Personal living, I was in hell. I didn't take care of my health, my me time, my mindset. I was just creating for other people what I wanted to create for me. So I felt those years I was an imposter because I want you to just wake up and do these amazing things and la la la, and then you can do it. And then in my real life, I was just struggling myself to do that. So the pandemic hit and just gave me a new perspective in life of taking care of myself.
mm,
Um, it really starts with the pain. I use my pain to fulfill that void that I couldn't handle it anymore. Like I felt I was in I it was just so dark and the rock bottom that I was like, do I push myself from this point? Because I'm not going any under because there's no more to go. I'm in the rock bottom. So I use that pain and use the grace of faith, trusting the divine.
mm,
That pain was gonna help. It was gonna. It was gonna be for something because I didn't understand in that time for what it was. So I start navigating through Bible and understanding the weight of Jesus start creating that. And I totally understood that you need to first take care of the unconscious things that you cannot see, the things that you don't know why this is happening to me, or the things that you act in certain ways that you don't know why you react in certain
mm,
ways. And then I start going deeper into my traumas, going to therapy, going to spiritual coaches, like going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I still do those things, and it's really freaking hard to see shadows because when you get there, you get in a resistance of changing. and then you see it, and then you're like, or you resist and do the same things, or you just change the perspective of the view. So for that, I invest a lot with therapies and spiritual coaches and people who actually help me to get deeper to my inner child traumas and understand what I've learned from those things and what I'm reprogramming to my present in order for that to happen again and again and again.
Mhm.
So that was the first thing. And then I start adding journaling, which is try writing. I have this. It's just a book I have in my it's just a book. It says she believed she could, so she did.
Mhm.
And it's empty. And every morning I just meditate from depending on my time to 5 to 10 minutes. And then when I meditate and I'm really pressing into my life, I just write. And then I start reading a book. This is Defining Gravity from Caroline Mason. It just talks about how do you live without fear and healing beyond the limits of your mindset. So it's just keep nurturing yourself into the things that you need to know. And it's like going to work. You know, you have to wake up, you have to drink coffee, you have to do all those certain things. But taking yourself to 5 to 10 minutes to just morning balance yourself with your coffee and be like, okay, I'm gonna start my days intentionally. I'm gonna start my days feeling like shit
Mhm.
because sometimes we wake up and you feel like, oh my god, it's uncomfortable. If you stick to that, that will help you to rebalance and to refocus on changing that. And the day that you must need it, the day that you are like, I'm freaking dying, that's the day you cannot drop it because
Mhm.
that's the day you need it the most.
Mhm.
If you don't need it, you will do it now. Like, okay, I'm just gonna write and drink my coffee, and it's easy. But the day that it's harder, that's the day you're like, be disciplined and say, I don't want to do it. And then what I do is just I take one action at a time. I'm like, I'm gonna drink my coffee. I'm gonna play that like one step because if I think about all the things, the steps that I have to do, I won't do it. So I start seeing that path of me. If I think about one little action, I am the goal. Like I can do every other step. Even though and then training, it's really good because it just help you to use your mind into creating a pattern of I don't want to do this, and you keep doing it, and then it gives you the discipline in your regular life. So doing that, moving my body, still in therapy, reading books that helps me, writing, connecting with people that really elevate my energy, not taking down that, and going towards your dreams.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about entrepreneurship dreams.
Mhm.
I'm talking whatever dreams. I mean, I'm an assistant and I want to be a coordinator. I'm a coordinator. I want to be a manager. I see myself in this company. Like, just I want to do like an MBA and I'm 45. Like, whatever it is, just going to that is going to help you to feel more confident about yourself.
Mhm.
And that is just what really keep helping me to be grounded, humble, not believe in the movie. Because if I do, my ego will freaking kill me. So I'm like, no, 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 no. I know you want to save me, ego, but let me just reconnect with God and the energy of God and
Mhm.
just grounded myself into I'm a channel. This is not about me. This is about my challenge of serving people. And it just give me that. Don't go up there. Just go down. Let's just leave it the present. Just enjoy life. But we said it. No te creas la película. Do not believe the movie. Do not. Do not.
Oh my gosh. But if I'm being
Okay.
honest, you deserve to like be full of yourself. You deserve to like have an ego. Like you do not need to be humble.
I do have my ego. Don't get me wrong, but when I feel like my ego it surpassed me,
Mhm.
my grounded sense, I'm like, shh, 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 stay here.
Yeah.
We're doing amazing things. Of course we do. But
Yeah.
when that is just over here, it's not gonna help you to feel in your spiritual energy. Your ego, what does is want to protect you. And sometimes I am the best. I am the best of this. I am. So I am the. If I am always into that energy, I'm not going to be connected with my spiritual.
Mhm.
I know I'm good. I know I'm amazing. I know I cannot compare myself with anybody else
Mhm.
because I'm unique and I'm authentic. If I still turn myself into that, I'm like, I'm happy.
Mhm.
I'm still I'm like, oh my god, I'm enjoying this. But I try to stay grounded
Mhm.
because that's gonna help me to. I feel like getting more into the vision and less into my materialistic and physical world,
Mhm.
which I'm more appreciated.
Mhm. I think that's good. Like to definitely have that healthy balance of like, yes, I am that girl. Like I know what I'm doing. I am amazing. Like all that good stuff, but still being like, but hey, let's just tone it down a little bit. Let's be a little bit humble, you know? And I think for me, I definitely have to like be a little humble, but also like I'm not gonna be too humble because the thing with me is like if my friends are doing crazy like good things, like cool things, I'm gonna hype them up into like the next universe, and I'm gonna be like, no, you don't have room to be humble. You're not being humble today. Like you are that girl. Okay, embrace that, and like let me hype you up some more. you know, but
I get it. Yeah.
but like yes, having that healthy amount of like being humble and being like yes, I am doing great things, but remember who I am and who I'm serving.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
I think staying in therapy, like therapy, I swear, if I would have had therapy so much sooner, I would not have the problems that I have today. And
You will have other problems. We still gonna have problems, girl. We do. That's not the thing.
this is true.
I always tell myself like, if I knew this, I would be more like, and I'm like, yeah, but then you will have another problems because you didn't know that reality too.
That's true. That's true. But I feel like I would have had my trauma dealt with sooner, you know.
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
By the way, y'all, she's like my other therapist. I have plenty more than one therapist, but you know.
My friends, some of my friends tell me that, like with my sisters, like, I actually needed to talk to you because I feel like I go to therapy with you. I'm like, I do not have that title. I do not.
No, but it's so good to have people that you can talk to and rant to, and like they can give you sound and good advice. And that, like you said earlier, like it's so important to surround yourself with those people. And I make sure that I do the same thing, like surround myself with people who have the positive energy, right? The positive vibes, who I know, like in my times of need, that they'll be there and not make me feel guilty for needing them, you know? And
Yeah.
I think you do amazing at that. Like you've done great at just a few times that we spoke of like, no, it's okay. And I know that you're going through something, so let's talk about it. And no, like you're not annoying. No, that's trauma, right? And that literally blew my mind when you said that. And it actually like really helped me to be like, no, you're not annoying and it's okay to need help. Wow. Pause. My earring just fell.
That is telling you something. That's life, people.
That's life, y'all. Like you think everything's going great and then boop, something happens. But
That's life.
that's life, y'all. That's for sure life. But also a cool
Yeah.
thing about you though is like you said when you first got this is your first podcast in English, but I think I'm super honored to be a part of that. Like, hello.
Yeah.
But you also have your own podcast, and it's called
I
Be Brave
do.
the Podcast that you hosted with your sister since 2019. So tell us a little more
Yeah.
about that. Like, where did the name come from? What did it mean to you?
From this, if you see the camera,
I have a
that's a
tattoo.
thunder.
Ah, yeah.
And then that's an N.
Oh.
So, and then that little thing here is a J.
Mhm,
So, my mom used to call Norma, and my dad, it's Jose.
mhm,
And I was trying to, when my mom died in 2018, I was trying to find out,
mhm.
um, like a story or a tattoo that really just give me a reminder of her legacy. Because my mom actually, she wanted to be fashion designer forever. So she made a lot of outfits for us. Every time I need something, I'm like, Mom, and she would, let's go to buy some things and then make things happen. She was always that, but she was an accountant.
Mhm.
So she had to be that person with a really good position in Dominican Republic. But her, like in that time, she couldn't do that. As now, as there's a lot of fashion designers that can pursue that. So I wanted to do something that really represents and give that legacy in my life of her dreams, and I can reproduce those dreams in my life. And this tattoo, it was the same thing. I was trying to do the tattoo. And then I tried to use her name and stuff. And then I used the end and then I pivot vertical. And I'm like, that's a thunder.
Mm,
Her name is the thunder. And she spent 19 years struggling with cancer.
mm,
She was so brave. So that thunder means that. The story comes from her story to be brave no matter what.
mm,
So I use that as part of my brand. So everybody knows every time, like, be brave, Lisaura. Like, everybody, Lisaura. So I, in my life, represent that.
mm,
So every decision, I'm like, I need to be brave. I don't have any other choice. So seeing my mom struggling those years give me a purpose
mm,
and a perspective in life to, if she can handle that pain, that struggle, that those things, what can I do if I'm healthy? If I'm good at my skin, like what can I do? Conquer the world because if I have all these things that are really available for me, I can do it.
mm,
So I created Be Brave the podcast in 2019. First, I started as myself and just talking about marketing and strategies. How do you do it? How do you, because I did have an agency, so I have people to, create their own brands and just giving like a meaningful thing to their brands and all the strategy marketings of being in the awareness and the selling and the conversion and the digital marketing, like all those things. And it became part of everything. And Be Brave, I talk about the struggles behind of an entrepreneur woman like me, and I talk about those things. So how do I navigate through this? How do I feel about that? And then I start doing those podcasts. And then in 20, it was 2022 when my sister, she's a coach. She's a coaching and she always wanted to do a podcast. She wanted to do it. And I paused the podcast because I was living a lot of things in my life. And I told myself, you can't handle this. What am I going to talk about? And if you're navigating through all these things, you need to navigate those things. And then when you're ready, you can talk. And then I was trying to changing. What do I want to talk about that podcast? I want to talk about more deep things,
mhm,
conscious mind, mindset, spiritual journey, traumas. Like I want to go deeper to the entrepreneur
mm,
person. And then I think about my son, like, do you want to join the podcast? She was like, of course I want to. And then we start creating these things and have like people that comes and talk about finance and talk about mental health and talk about there's therapists, there are like spiritual people, there are like human design people talking about why you're here. And like
mm,
we try to bring people to the conversation that gives more light into the conscious world,
mhm,
but the unconscious things that we go through
mm,
that we don't know. And when you put that conscious in front of you, like you feel like this, that's trauma. You're like, oh, I did not know that.
mm,
That was in your unconscious.
mm,
So talk about law of attraction and all those things became topics. And then we stopped the podcast because we do this for seasons. We stopped the podcast because I was moving. We did the last, we did in December because I was moving. She's handled certain things in her personal life too. So we were like, we need to stop, navigate our lives, and then come to the table and bring things from what we went through.
mm,
Because sometimes you need to pause in order for see,
mhm,
and then like, okay, let's go back. What we're gonna talk, and then every season we bring something different.
mm,
And I don't know what's gonna bring the next season yet, but it's gonna be so excited. So there's like a hundred episodes, more than 100 episodes,
mhm.
probably 110 episodes since 2019. So there's a lot of topics there. It's in Spanish. So yeah, it's kind of Be Brave, the podcast, empower and inspiring people to just to not let fear stop you.
Ah,
Use fear to give you energy
Mm-hmm.
and boost you to move.
Yes.
I use fear as my fuel,
Same.
and not everybody can.
Yeah.
That the people that stop in fear, they can use, they feel that they can use it.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say, that's trauma. That's not you.
Mm. Ah.
That's when you were young, they were telling you, do not do that. You were gonna fall. Do not do that. That's scary. Do not do that. And then you start feeling like if you do certain things, you're like, why? I cannot do this. This really stopped me. And then at that point, I always tell people, invest in people that push you into the river, that push you to do what you cannot do.
Mm.
Because if you cannot do it by yourself, just find someone to help you.
Mm.
Therapy, coaching, systems, programs, there's a lot of things to do.
Mm.
And you're never going to feel alone because you feel supported by that.
Ah, Lisaura, are you kidding?
I'm just talking about myself.
But still, like, oh my gosh, are you kidding? Like, oh my gosh. Yes. So there's so much in that. So first of all, I'm gonna have to pick up a third language, and I'm gonna have to learn Spanish so I can listen to your podcast and understand what's going on. Because I have watched clips, but I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but it's so powerful. Like I just, I just know it is so good. But I'm definitely gonna have to like actually learn, and that's I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come back and be like, I understood your episode, and this is what happened. It's gonna be great. But I love the backstory of what it means to be brave. Like you saw that through your mom. You saw that like, yeah, she was struggling for so many years with cancer, but she still came through. Like she still kept going. She still pushed through. She still took care of you. She still loved you and raised you. And you took that and you'll forever take that like with you for the rest of your life. And then you'll use that as motivation to continue your brand and to grow and to help and serve people. And I think out of tragedies come beautiful things. Like
Yep.
oh my gosh, I've had so many tragedies happen, and it feels like honestly through this life it feels like it's never going to end. Like it's one thing after another. You get a little break, everything seems fine, and then here comes life. Boop, you thought I was done, but here's something else. What are you going to do with it? And then you're like, oh, that's crazy. And then it's like, okay, now you're cool for a few more months. Oop, by the way, there's that again. It's kind of like, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? Guys, it's never going to end. It's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
What really matters is what are you going to do with those strategies? What are you going to do with those things that try to pull you back and set you back? What are you going to do with that? You're going to use that as a lesson and keep moving forward. Use that as empowerment. Use that as growth. And I think that's just how we're going to really see change. How we're going to really change the world is like, yes, these tragedies happen, but what am I going to do to make it something out of it beautiful, right? What am I going to do to elevate myself and elevate the people around me? I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I would say my final question is because we could talk literally forever, but
I know.
I would say to leave for the girlies. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received that changed your life and shaped how you live and be brave?
There's a couple of ones, but the one that actually really like moves me is to feel.
Mm.
And that comes from we as a human being, we overprotect our hearts
Mm.
to not feel the pain, to not feel the joy, to not feel whatever it is. So it's like let myself be vulnerable and open up my heart. And if it feel hurts, I have a system that really support me, that is gonna hurt me and navigate with me the pain or the loss or whatever that I feel. So that really changed everything for me because I overprotect my happiness
Mm.
overall. Being single for so long gives me that comfy side of I'm not gonna put myself out there to feel.
Mhm.
You're not gonna hurt me. I become so much of myself, so you're not gonna hurt me.
Mhm.
And then said, so what's the point of living life if I don't let myself feel
Mhm.
and being able to use all the tools that I've been learning since I started develop myself into this path? And that really changed everything for me. And it was a friend of mine. She said, whatever it is, feel.
Mhm.
I'm going to be here if you need to cry. I'm going to be here if you, whatever you need, feel. Do not put yourself out of feeling emotionally. Um, and that's why one of the reasons I choose my word, I use every year, I use a word that really guide me. And I ask myself, am I honoring my word, which is love? My word of the year is love. And every time I'm navigating through certain things, I ask myself, do I navigate like I'm honoring that word of my year? Am I doing this with love? Am I enjoying this with love? Am I going out with love? Am I reading this with love? Am I And that really changed everything for me. And the second thing, it wasn't an advice, but it was an interview that I saw. I think it was Bradley Cooper. I do not remember. And someone asked him what was the best advice for life. And he said, shh, if you do silence, you can hear, you can feel, you can sense. And that was everything to me because I talk non-stopping.
Mhm.
So when I can hear myself. I can be with myself. And those things, I'm like, I'm gonna hear myself, and I'm gonna live life, and I'm gonna open up my heart, and I'm gonna use my tools to open up my heart in a healthy way. And I'm like, I'm navigating through that now, and I think that was the two things that really changed my life forever.
Wow. Beautiful. I love that so much. Uh, and here you are, just doing amazing things. And I literally can't wait to just continue following your journey and seeing how you take over the world, how you change the world. Ugh.
That's what I
And look, that's what
want.
you're gonna do. Lisaura, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Diamond. It was for me. It was. This is gonna be something that I will forever remember. Because you always remember your first thing in certain things in life,
Mhm.
and this is my first thing. So I'm just so glad and honored to be
Oh
here.
my gosh, I'm even more honored to be in your aura. Okay, like it feels great being here. Ah. Well, tell us where we can find you. Where can we follow your journey?
Well, you can find me in all my social media. It's Lisaura Lara, which means Lisuralalara, like Lara Craft,
Oh,
but Lisaura is my name, Lara is my last name. So all social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. That's it.
okay. Well, y'all follow her. Seriously, follow her. Like she will never disappoint. She will not disappoint you. Like you will just wake up one day and be like, "Ooh, I am that girl. Ooh, I can take over the world," because you watched a video by her. Okay, so follow her, guys, and I hope to see y'all next week.
Me too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.